AITA for not inviting my dad's new wife to my graduation. I, 18F, am graduating high school next month, and I'm honestly losing my mind over this whole situation. I never thought I'd be posting here, but I desperately need some outside perspective because my family is making me feel like I'm going crazy. AITA for not inviting my dad's new wife to my graduation. Posted by you/gradgirl 2024, 3 hours ago. I, 18F, am graduating high school next month, and I'm honestly losing my mind over this whole situation. I never thought I'd be posting here, but I desperately need some outside perspective because my family is making me feel like I'm going crazy. Some background. My parents divorced when I was 12. It wasn't a messy divorce exactly, but it definitely wasn't amicable either. My dad moved out, and within like 8 months, he was introducing me to Sarah, fake name, obviously. I remember thinking it was way too fast, but I was just a kid dealing with my parents splitting up, so what did I know about adult relationships, right? Well, my dad married Sarah less than a year after the divorce was finalized. I was 13 at the time, and honestly still processing everything. My mom was incredible through all of this. She never badmouthed my dad, always encouraged me to have a relationship with him, and basically held our lives together while dealing with her own heartbreak. She's seriously the strongest person I know. Here's where things get complicated. From literally day one, Sarah has been obsessed with me calling her mom. And I mean obsessed. The first time I met her, she introduced herself to the waitress as his daughter's mom, while pointing at me. I was mortified. When I corrected her and said stepmom, she laughed it off like I was being cute, but I could see she was annoyed. Over the years, this has escalated into a constant boundary-pushing nightmare. Some examples. She ignores me completely when I call her by her name. Like, full-on pretends she can't hear me until I say Sarah or stepmom. Even then, she'll make comments about how hurtful it is that I won't call her mom. She posts on Facebook and Instagram calling me her daughter and talking about her 2 kids. She has a son from a previous relationship. When people who know our family correct her in the comments, she deletes their responses. She's tried multiple times to exclude my actual mom from school events. In sophomore year, she called my school and tried to have my mom removed from the emergency contact list because it's confusing for the child to have multiple mothers involved. The school shut that down real quick, thank God. She bought me a Mother's Day card one year and got upset when I didn't give it to her. I was 15 and completely bewildered because, hello, I have a mom? Last year at my 17th birthday party, which my mom organized and paid for, Sarah stood up and gave this whole speech about watching her daughter grow up and how proud she was as a mother. My mom just sat there with this frozen smile, but I could tell she was hurt and uncomfortable. The thing is, my dad enables all of this. Whenever I try to talk to him about Sarah overstepping, he says I'm being difficult or that I should give her a chance. When I point out that I've given her chances for 5 years, he accuses me of holding grudges and not letting his new family blend properly. My mom, meanwhile, has been nothing but gracious. She's never said a bad word about Sarah, even when Sarah actively tries to undermine her role in my life. Mom has always told me that my relationship with my dad is separate from her feelings about the divorce, and that I should try to get along with Sarah for my own sake. But even my mom has started to get frustrated with the situation, especially after the birthday party incident. So, here's the current drama. Graduation is coming up and I get a limited number of tickets. I want my mom there, obviously. She's been my rock through everything. I also want my dad there because despite everything, he's still my father and I love him. But I do not want Sarah there. When I told my dad about the graduation plans, he immediately assumed Sarah was invited. When I said she wasn't, he completely lost it. He started yelling about how I'm punishing Sarah, how she's been nothing but loving toward me, and how I'm being selfish and ungrateful. Sarah, of course, started crying and going on about how she just wanted to be a mother to me and how she's tried so hard to bond with me. She said she feels like I've never given her a fair chance, and that it's heartbreaking to be excluded from such an important milestone. Here's what really gets me, though. She then had the audacity to suggest that maybe my mom shouldn't come instead, since it might be less confusing if it was just the nuclear family, meaning her, my dad, and me. When I told her absolutely not, she started crying harder and said I was choosing sides and destroying the family. My dad is now saying that if Sarah can't come, he won't come either. He's giving me this ultimatum like I'm supposed to choose between having my dad at graduation or standing up for my boundaries. He keeps saying that Sarah is his wife and that excluding her is disrespectful to their marriage. But here's the thing. This is my graduation. I've worked my ass off for 4 years to get here. I have a 4.2 GPA. I'm going to a great college on a partial scholarship, and I've managed to do all of this while dealing with family drama that most adults couldn't handle. I want this day to be about celebrating that achievement, not managing Sarah's feelings or dealing with her inevitable drama. I keep thinking about my 8th grade promotion ceremony. Sarah made such a scene about seating arrangements. She wanted to sit between my mom and dad like we were all one big happy family, that I spent half the ceremony anxious and embarrassed instead of proud. Or my 16th birthday dinner where she corrected the server when they assumed my mom was my mom, saying, "Actually, I'm her mother," loud enough for nearby tables to hear. I don't want any of that energy at my graduation. My mom says the decision is entirely up to me and she'll support whatever I choose, but I can tell she thinks I should just invite Sarah to keep the peace. My best friend says I'm totally justified and that Sarah sounds psycho, her words, but she doesn't have divorced parents, so maybe she doesn't get how complicated it is. Some of my extended family is split too. My mom's sister thinks I'm being mature and setting healthy boundaries. My dad's mom thinks I'm being unnecessarily cruel to Sarah and that I should be the bigger person. I've even considered just giving Sarah one of my tickets to make this all go away, but then I think about having to watch her perform her proud mom act at my graduation, probably taking selfies and posting them with captions about her daughter graduating, and I feel sick. Here's what I think, but maybe I'm wrong. I think 5 years of consistently disrespecting my boundaries and trying to erase my actual mother earns you not being invited to my graduation. I think my dad choosing his wife's feelings over his daughter's comfort on one of the biggest days of her life is really telling. And I think wanting the people who actually supported me through high school to be there isn't selfish. It's natural. But then I wonder, am I being unfair? Sarah didn't choose for my parents to get divorced. She married my dad, and maybe in her mind, that meant becoming a mother to his child too. Maybe she genuinely thought she was doing the right thing by trying to create a real family dynamic. Maybe I should have been clearer about boundaries earlier, or tried harder to have a relationship with her. And my dad, he loves her, right? This is his wife, his partner. Maybe from his perspective, I am being cruel by excluding her. Maybe he sees his daughter rejecting his new family, and it hurts him. Maybe the ultimatum isn't manipulation, but just him standing by his wife the way a good husband should. I keep going back and forth on this. Some days I think I'm 100% justified and that they're both being ridiculous. Other days I wonder if I'm just being a stubborn teenager who can't accept that family dynamics change when parents remarry. The questions that keep me up at night. Am I being selfish for only wanting my bio parents there? Is excluding Sarah really punishment, or is it just natural consequences for years of boundary violations? Should I just suck it up for one day to keep family peace? Is my dad right that I never gave Sarah a fair chance? Am I going to regret this decision later? What's really eating at me? I feel like I'm 18 years old, and I'm being forced to choose between having my father at my graduation or protecting my own emotional well-being. How is that fair? I've been dealing with this for 5 years, trying to be diplomatic and mature, and now on one of the most important days of my life, I still have to manage everyone else's feelings instead of just being excited about my own achievement. I graduate in 3 weeks. My dad is still giving me the silent treatment, waiting for me to come to my senses. Sarah keeps texting me these long messages about how hurt she is and how she loves me like her own daughter. My mom is trying to stay neutral, but I can tell she's stressed about the whole situation. So, Reddit, AITA? Am I being a bratty teenager who can't accept her dad's new wife? Or am I an 18-year-old woman who has the right to decide who gets to celebrate her achievements with her? Edit. Thank you to everyone who's responded so far. Reading these comments is making me feel a lot less crazy. A few people have asked for clarification on some things. About my mom. Yes, She's been incredible through all of this. She's never once badmouthed my dad or Sarah to me, even when I vented to her about Sarah's behavior. She always encourages me to have a relationship with my dad and has never tried to put me in the middle of their issues. When I told her about the graduation situation, she just said, "It's your day, honey. Invite whoever will make you happiest." About my dad's ultimatum. Yes, he literally said, "If Sarah can't come, then I won't come either. We're a package deal now." When I asked if he was seriously going to miss his only daughter's graduation over this, he said I was forcing his hand and that I could fix this anytime by just inviting Sarah. About Sarah's son. He's 14 and honestly a pretty good kid. None of this drama is his fault, and I don't have issues with him. He's never been pushy about the family stuff and actually seems uncomfortable when Sarah goes on her "we're all one big happy family" rants. About therapy. We tried family counseling when I was 15. Sarah spent the entire first session crying about how rejected she felt and how hard it was to love a child who wouldn't love her back. The therapist tried to help us set boundaries, but Sarah would agree in the session and then go right back to the same behavior. My dad stopped taking me after 3 sessions because he said it was making things worse. Edit 2. Holy shit, this blew up. Thank you for all the support. I literally cried reading some of these responses. A few updates. I talked to my dad. I called him tonight and basically laid out everything I've been feeling. I told him that his ultimatum was forcing me to choose between my boundaries and having him at graduation, and that it wasn't fair. I said that Sarah's behavior over the years had made me uncomfortable and that I just wanted one day that was about me without having to manage her feelings. His response, he doubled down. Said I was being dramatic and that Sarah had tried her best with me. When I brought up specific examples of her overstepping, he said I was holding on to grudges and that blended families are hard for everyone. He ended the call by saying that his decision stands: either Sarah comes or neither of them do. I'm honestly heartbroken. I never thought my dad would choose to miss my graduation over this. It's making me see our whole relationship differently, but also weirdly relieved, because now I know for sure that I'm making the right choice. Someone in the comments said that good parents don't give their kids ultimatums on important days, and that really hit home. So it looks like it'll just be my mom, which honestly might be perfect. She's the one who helped me with homework, drove me to school activities, listened to me cry about friend drama, and celebrated every single achievement. She deserves to be there more than anyone. Thank you again, Reddit. You helped me realize I'm not crazy or selfish. I'm just a kid who wants her graduation day to actually be about her. Story 2. AITA for not changing my wedding date because it clashes with my SIL's birthday trip. I, 28F, am getting married to my fiancé Jake, 30M, in exactly 4 months, and I'm honestly questioning my sanity right now. What should be the happiest time of my life has turned into this bizarre family drama that I never saw coming, and I desperately need some outside perspective because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Background: Jake and I have been together for 6 years. We got engaged 18 months ago and immediately started planning our wedding. We chose October 14th for our wedding date because it's the anniversary of the day we first met. We literally bumped into each other at a coffee shop on October 14th, 2018, and he spilled his latte all over my laptop bag. It sounds cheesy, but that date means everything to us. It's when our whole love story began. We booked our venue, a gorgeous historic mansion, a full year in advance. We put down a $8,000 non-refundable deposit. We've booked and paid deposits for our photographer, $2,500 deposit, our caterer, $3,500, our florist, $800, our DJ, $600, and our videographer, $1,200. Our invitations went out 6 weeks ago, beautiful custom ones that cost us $1,800. We've had our engagement party, our venue tasting, multiple dress fittings, and I've already had my bachelorette party planned by my sister for the weekend before. Everything has been set in stone for months. Our 150 guests have booked hotels, requested time off work, and many have already bought flights, since we have family coming from across the country. My 94-year-old grandmother even moved a medical procedure, so she wouldn't miss it. Enter my future sister-in-law, Megan, 27F. Megan is Jake's younger sister, and honestly, we've always had a cordial, but not super close relationship. She's a lot. She's very dramatic, always needs to be the center of attention, and has this tendency to make everything about herself. But Jake loves her, and she's going to be family, so I've always tried to get along with her. Here's where it gets insane. Apparently, for the last 4 years, Megan has taken an annual birthday trip with her college friends. Her birthday is October 12th, so they usually go away the weekend closest to it for some big celebration. This year, that weekend is October 14th to 15th, our wedding weekend. Now, I need to be clear here. When we chose our date 18 months ago, we had no idea about this tradition. Jake knew Megan usually did something for her birthday, but he thought it was just dinner or a party, not a whole weekend trip. Megan never mentioned it during any of our wedding planning conversations, never brought it up when we announced our date, never said anything when we sent save the dates 8 months ago, and still said nothing when the actual invitations went out. The bomb drops. 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. Megan calls Jake crying. She's just realized that her birthday trip is the same weekend as our wedding and she's devastated. She's already booked a house in the Hamptons for her and her 6 friends. They've planned this whole elaborate weekend, and now she has to choose between her annual tradition and her brother's wedding. But here's the kicker. Instead of just accepting that life sometimes has scheduling conflicts and that maybe, just maybe, a wedding trumps a birthday party, she asks us to move our wedding. I'm not kidding. She literally asked us to reschedule our entire wedding, so she wouldn't have to cancel her birthday trip. When Jake, bless him, told her that wasn't possible, she completely lost it. She started crying about how birthdays only come once a year, but weddings can happen any day and we could just pick a different date that works for everyone. The conversation that broke my brain. When Jake explained about all our deposits, the venue booking, the guests who've made plans, etc., Megan said, and I quote, "Well, you should have checked with me before booking everything. You knew how important my birthday trips are to me. Y'all. We should have consulted her about our wedding date." I'm going to say that again because I still can't believe it. My future sister-in-law thinks we should have asked her permission before choosing our wedding date, in case it interfered with her birthday party. It gets worse. When Jake held firm that we weren't changing anything, Megan pivoted to trying to make me the villain. She called me directly, which she never does. We usually only talk at family gatherings, and started this whole sob story about how I must have known about her tradition and chose that date specifically to overshadow her birthday. When I pointed out that her birthday is October 12th and our wedding is October 14th, so we're not even on the same day, she said that the birthday weekend is sacred and that I was being deliberately obtuse about the overlap. She then suggested that since it was just a family birthday tradition versus just our wedding date preference, we should compromise. Her proposed solution? Move our wedding to the following weekend, October 21st, so her birthday trip could proceed as planned. The family shitstorm. When I explained that moving would cost us literally thousands of dollars in rebooking fees, if venues/vendors are even available, plus the inconvenience to all our guests, she said I was being dramatic about money and that family should come first. She's now rallied some of their extended family to her cause. Jake's aunt thinks we should just move it to keep the peace. His cousin said that traditions are important and we should consider Megan's feelings. Even their mom, who I generally love, suggested maybe we could find a compromise. The compromise everyone keeps suggesting? That we move our wedding. And no one is suggesting that maybe, just maybe, Megan could move her birthday trip. Megan's nuclear option. When it became clear that we weren't budging, Megan played her trump card. She told Jake that if we don't move the wedding, she won't come at all. Not just that she'll miss it for her trip, she'll actively boycott it in protest. She's also convinced 2 of her friends, who were invited as her plus ones because she couldn't choose just one, to not come either, and she's been posting passive-aggressive stuff on social media about family loyalty and people who prioritize money over relationships. Jake's position. My fiancé has been incredible through this, honestly. He told Megan straight up that our wedding date isn't changing, that she's being unreasonable, and that he'd be heartbroken if she missed it, but he won't be manipulated into rearranging our entire wedding for her birthday party. But I can tell this is killing him. He loves his sister, despite her dramatics, and the thought of her not being at our wedding is genuinely devastating to him. He keeps saying he supports me 100%, but I catch him looking sad sometimes, and I know he's hoping I'll just give in to make this go away. The guilt trip continues. Megan has now started sending me these long text messages about how I'm destroying the family and how she never thought I'd be the type of person to steal someone's birthday weekend. She keeps saying that if I really loved Jake, I'd want his whole family there and would be willing to make small sacrifices for family harmony. She's also started telling people that we're being bridezillous and that we care more about our perfect Pinterest wedding than about family relationships. According to Jake's cousin, she's been saying that we deliberately chose that date to spite her and that I'm trying to exclude her from the family. Here's what's making me question everything. Part of me wonders if I'm being too rigid. Like, yes, we'd lose money and it would be a massive inconvenience, but is it worth having Jake's sister not at the wedding? Is it worth this family drama? Am I being a bridezilla by refusing to even consider moving it? But then I think about it rationally and I get angry all over again. We're talking about a birthday party, not a once-in-a-lifetime event, not a milestone anniversary, not a family reunion that was planned years in advance. A birthday party that happens every year. Meanwhile, our wedding is literally a once-in-a-lifetime event, hopefully, that we've been planning for over a year, that we've spent thousands of dollars on, and that 150 people have arranged their schedules around. The things that keep me up at night. The date significance. October 14th isn't just a random date we picked. It's the anniversary of when we met. Moving it would feel like we're letting someone else dictate one of the most meaningful days of our relationship. The precedent. If we give in to this, what's next? Will Megan expect us to consult her before we plan our honeymoon? Before we buy a house? Before we have kids? Where does it end? The financial reality. We're not wealthy. We've saved for 2 years for this wedding and spent money we don't really have to make it special. Losing thousands in deposits and rebooking fees would genuinely hurt us financially. The guest impact. We have elderly relatives, people flying in from other states, friends who've requested specific days off work. Moving would be incredibly unfair to everyone who's already made plans. The principle. Why should our once-in-a-lifetime wedding be less important than her annual birthday trip? But then I think about family harmony. Is being right worth having permanent tension in the family? Jake's happiness. Would he secretly resent me if his sister isn't at our wedding because I refuse to compromise? The bigger picture. In 10 years, will I care more about the specific date or about having had all of Jake's family there? Recent developments. Things have escalated even further. Megan's friends have started commenting on our wedding hashtag posts with things like, some people care more about Instagram than family, and hope the perfect date was worth it. Megan herself has started posting countdown posts to her 4th annual birthday weekend getaway with captions about loyalty and real friends who prioritize what matters. Jake's mom called me yesterday asking if there was any way we could work something out because Megan is really hurt and she hates seeing the family divided. When I explained our position, she said she understood but asked if I could just think about it for Jake's sake. The final straw. Yesterday, Megan sent me a text that said, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I realized that a good sister-in-law would want to make her future family happy. A good sister-in-law wouldn't prioritize a party over family relationships. I really hope you'll reconsider what kind of family member you want to be. That message made me so angry, I literally shook. She's calling our wedding a party, while simultaneously acting like her birthday trip is some sacred family tradition that can't be moved. So here I am, Reddit, asking the internet for help because I genuinely don't know if I'm being reasonable or if I've lost all perspective. Am I the asshole for refusing to change my wedding date? Some additional context people might ask about. Could we have a second celebration? We could theoretically do something small the weekend after for family who can't make it, but that feels like rewarding Megan's behavior and would cost us even more money we don't have. Could Megan move her trip? Yes, absolutely. She could do it the weekend before, the weekend after, or literally any other weekend. But she says the birthday weekend is sacred and moving it would ruin the whole tradition. Are there other family events we're competing with? Nope. We specifically chose October because it was clear of all major family birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays. Could we compromise on the time? Our wedding is Saturday evening. Her trip is Friday through Sunday. There's literally no way to do both. I keep going back and forth between feeling like I'm 100% right and wondering if I'm being a stubborn bridezilla who's prioritizing my perfect day over family relationships. What would you do, Reddit? AITA? Edit. Wow, this blew up overnight. Thank you to everyone who's responded. Reading these comments is making me feel a lot less crazy. A few people asked for some clarifications. About the venue deposit. Yes, it's non-refundable. We asked. The only way we could move would be if they had availability on a different date, and we'd forfeit the entire $8,000 and have to put down a new deposit. October 21st, the date Megan suggested, is already booked. About Jake's response to his sister, he's been amazing, actually. When she first brought this up, he laughed because he thought she was joking. When he realized she was serious, he told her absolutely not. He's been completely supportive of me, but I can tell he's heartbroken about the whole situation. About other family members, most of Jake's family thinks Megan is being ridiculous. It's really just his aunt, one cousin, and his mom who are suggesting we should consider compromising. His dad told Megan she was being silly and that weddings trump birthday parties. About Megan's past behavior, since people are asking, yes, she has a history of this kind of thing. She threw a fit when Jake proposed because he didn't ask her opinion on the ring first. She was upset that our engagement party was the same month as her birthday, different weekend, but apparently the whole month is sacred now.
She's just a lot.
Edit 2. I talked to Jake about some of the suggestions in the comments, and we've decided we're definitely not moving the wedding. The responses here have really confirmed that we're not being unreasonable. However, we're going to try one last olive branch. Jake is going to call Megan and offer to help her plan a really special birthday celebration the weekend before or after. Maybe help pay for a nice dinner for her and her friends, or plan something special here in town. If she's really just about celebrating her birthday and not about controlling us, hopefully she'll take the compromise. If not, then at least we'll know we tried everything. Thank you again, Reddit. You've helped me realize that I'm not a bridezilla for wanting my wedding date to actually be about my wedding.